Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Waiver Wire live stream. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me, as always, every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, is D-Bro, Derrick Brown, the king of bros. Our producer, John, behind the screens on the ones and the twos, whatever the hell that means. And we're talking Waiver Wire. We're going to talk about the players you want to add. If you've got other questions, drop them in the chat below. This is what we're here for. We're the people show. We're here to help you make your fantasy teams better, maybe your life better as well. I am working feverishly on pronouncing the Miami Dolphins running back's name correctly. Here's my problem, Derrick Brown. After 6+ months from Senior Bowl through the NFL draft all the way till now, nobody said that his name wasn't Davante Achane. Okay? Everybody said it that way. At the Senior Bowl, they said it that way. At the NFL draft for weeks, nobody mentioned it, but now we have to correct this. So our waiver wire pickup of the week, I know I'm going to screw this up anyway, is Devon Achane. John, did I do it right? Do I get the thumbs up? No, it's not Devon Achane. You know what? Achane. Devon Achane. Okay. So I'll just call him DA. DA, listen, DA, you had a great game on Sunday. So many touchdowns. DA was unbelievable. It's going to take me a while to undo that. It takes me a lot. Like, it took me 6 months to learn to say Albert Okuibunam, and then he never became fantasy relevant. So that was not time well spent. Yeah, that was terrible. So this guy, on the other hand, I am very high on. Now, we have to talk about this backfield because Raheem Mostert's still there. I know he's the sleeper waiver wire pickup of the week. And Achane is a very talented, smaller back, explosive back. He doesn't have to touch the football 15, 20 times to bring fantasy points. But eventually when Jalen Waddle comes back and El Jefe, your boy Jeffrey Wilson, comes back, D-Bro, it is going to get a little crowded in there. So I know everybody's running to the waiver wire. Everybody's drunk off the 70-point performance, as they should be, from the Dolphins. But should people be quite so aggressive on Mr. Big DA in the MIA?
No, that was very nice. I like what you did there,
professional.
Joey.
That's right.
Look, I talked about it on the waiver wire show. I mean, Devon getting, and I'm scared to say his last name.
I don't know what to say anymore. I've completely in my head about it.
Yes. All right. So
Achane.
So Devon Achane's workload, him having less than 50% of the running back touches and losing the routes to Mostert, I think is a big deal. And I'm saying, like I said this on the waiver wire show so people can hold me accountable, but I'm with being aggressive, but I don't think I'm going to be aggressive enough. Probably that. I mean, come on, Joe. Like, what are bids going to be at? Like 35, probably 40%.
There's going to be a premium on it.
He did.
Well, there's a recency bias where people are going to chase stuff, right? And I think that's just the natural thing. And this is kind of what happened with Jerome Ford. Now, of the people who are doing Jerome Ford victory laps, if you take away the 2 touchdowns, it is an ugly day for Jerome Ford. Ugly day. So I had people text me, "Oh, looks like he was great." I'm like, listen, he was great because he had the 2 scores. If he doesn't have those 2 scores, or even one of those scores, maybe, like, it is a much different conversation we're talking about. So
that's fair, Joe. And I think, like, the other thing, not just like
13 for
talking about
yards
Ford
or something like that. Come on.
It was pretty bad, man. And the other thing, like, not even just talking about Ford and Achane and all these waiver wire pickups, man. But I do, before we get the show rolling, I want to lean into something, and I put it out on social media earlier today. Something that's honestly just been really, and this is a safe space, right, Joe? Right? No. This is safe space?
I think so. Well, usually not when I'm around, but let's pretend it is.
This is a safe space. We have all of our listeners in here, and I want to talk about something real quick. This is a very special day. So I want to sit here and celebrate and tell my man happy birthday. So right now in the chat, we're all going to sing happy birthday to Joey, and then he's going to blow his candle out, okay?
Let's go. All right. 1, I still got enough air to do it.
2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
You need
John,
to work.
You throw me off.
John's on a delay singing with you. Come on, sing it. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Joey B. Happy birthday to you.
I'm going to blow it out virtually. Ready?
Blow it out. Blow it out.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa. Oh, there you go, baby. Hope you made a wish. Woohoo!
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, Derrick Brown. Thank you, John.
Love you, buddy.
Yes, as Scott Bogman likes to say, hey, happy birthday. You're another year closer to death. Thanks, Bogman. That's what real friends do.
Dude, John was throwing me off with trying to sing. Like, he's lagging behind me.
I know,
as
he's
I'm
like
trying to sing,
behind 30
like, do I
seconds.
slow it down? Do I speed
that
it
was
up?
so
Like, John,
good.
we got to get on the same rhythm, dude. We should
John
have
has a
practiced
nice
this.
voice, though. John
He does.
has like John.
He's very,
Man,
very Isaac Hayes. He's got that
people don't know
low,
that. Like in the 90s,
like,
I think John used to
beautiful,
do a little
beautiful, like, sing you to sleep kind of tones,
in
man.
the 90s, I think he did a little of the the background vocals, for maybe Mary J. Blige or something. Like he might have had a little R&B hip hop soul. He's got a good voice. John's got a very good voice. So,
He does.
Get him on the show, not us idiots. All right, let's talk about some of your questions here. And thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. Smash Bro is going to start us. Great game. Love the Smash Brothers. It's the fun game to play with your children too when you want to take out some aggression when they're pissing you off about stuff. Play some Smash Brothers. That's how you put them in their place.
No, let's keep it 100. Okay, when I've tried to do that, my son has absolutely just kicked me in the teeth and beat me every single time.
No. I'm going to come over your house and teach him a lesson about respecting his elders. All right, let's get to full PPR. Trade Tank Dell for Jerome Ford.
No.
All the waiver wire convergence of week 3 and week 4, all in one pretty little trade. This comes down to roster construction and needs more than anything, Smash Bro. But if we're just talking about in a vacuum in the full point PPR, I feel like Tank Dell is the more valuable asset rest of season. Do you?
Absolutely. Like this, I would not be shipping off Tank Dell right now, and I would not be doing it for Jerome Ford.
Well, let's put it this way. You're picking both these guys off the waiver wire, right? So let's say that you're tight at wide receiver, right? You just picked up Tank Dell because he was the best guy. If you're hurting at RB, I don't think this is a bad trade. Like I don't want to tell Smash Bro like
this is not a bad trade.
Smash Bro, but like,
this is not a bad trade in the idea of it. But I think the target that you're going after is the part where I have the pause with it. Like for me, I would much rather if you were going to get rid of Tank Dell to sit here and lump somebody else with Tank Dell and you get up into a tier above Jerome Ford. Or just picking somebody else out of that low end RB2 category to go after. Like, do you want to invest in Breece Hall or somebody like that? It's just, I'm just not in on Jerome Ford is the thing.
I understand that. That makes sense. But again, I think it makes sense in terms of need too. If you just don't need Tank Dell and you want to get somebody, then you get somebody that can help you. And I think Ford can help you. By the way, I think you're going to get the Cleveland Browns to win that game this week. I already talked about it just now on my betting show that I just recorded a top 10 betting video. All right, 21 Sebs. Should I trade Trevor Lawrence and Marquise Brown for Anthony Richardson? I'm getting a ton of Trevor Lawrence stuff. Do I stick with Lawrence? Do I look to the waiver wire? I get it, man. It's been frustrating. I got to say, like, that's another one too. I don't know when it's going to get better. I hope it's going to get better, but for Richardson, I think I do this trade, D-Bro.
I would do this. And honestly, like, that's not much of a pay up to get to Richardson. And this is
Marquise Brown's a throw-in.
No, exactly. And this is not like shade on Trevor Lawrence, but like he's not playing great football. I think the Jaguars as well, they know this. And I was watching a clip, and actually it's on my timeline right now, is that, Doug Peterson basically alluded to the fact of like he took back over control of play calling. So I do think better days are ahead for that passing attack, but I'd still would take Anthony Richardson. If you can get that done, do it.
I was just doing a little Google search here about our producer, John, by the way, and it turns out that he did have a singing career for a while. Now, I don't know if people know this, but he was one of the people that was up to replace Bobby Brown in New Edition when Bobby Brown left New Edition when he was a kid. And John was one of those people that was up for that. He didn't get it. Unfortunately, lost out to Johnny Gill, one of the great singers. Love me some New Edition.
You're selling this really well. Like, I can't tell. Is this real? Like, I really gotta ask. Is that real? Because
it was John, our producer, and it was John or Johnny Gill, and unfortunately, Johnny Gill got but he was in consideration. I don't know if he ever went on tour with Bobby Brown after, but there's some stories there. John would have some stories to tell us if he was on tour with Bobby Brown in the late 80s, early 90s. I can tell you that. I'm here for those. John, at the next team retreat, I want to hear some of those stories if that happened.
That's like a 2 a.m., 3 a.m. conversation.
Oh, man. It's my prerogative. Everybody's talking all this stuff about me. All right. We've got a giveaway, by the way. People don't understand this. A new giveaway. No jersey this week, but this is pretty cool. Trophy Smack is helping us give you a fantasy football championship ring. So if you want a chance to win this free fantasy football championship ring, all you have to do, look at that bad boy. It's amazing. That's some good stuff. courtesy of Trophy Smack, the #1 store for epic fantasy football trophies. You need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Subscribe, be a subscriber, drop a comment below, a question below this video. That's it. Even if you're watching it back and you're not watching us live, you can still participate. We'll be announcing the winner right here on the channel, so make sure that you click that little bell till it goes ding for notifications. I'm all for the rings. As much as I love the belts and I'm a wrestling guy, they take up a lot of space. The rings are cool, and then you can wear a bunch of them when you go make the draft and point to the player you want on the board with your ring and everyone can see it. I think it's almost a little bit more.
The Brady.
Yeah, you could do a little, you can't see me. I think it's a little even more obnoxious. Therefore, I like it.
I love it because then you can get people to kiss the ring. You put it on your pinky.
Kiss the ring.
Kiss the ring.
That you make the loser in the league kiss the ring.
Bend the knee. Kiss the ring.
Bend the knee. There we go. Actually, no, let's go D'Angelo Walker first. Great name, D'Angelo Walker. Should I trade Aaron Jones and Sam LaPorta for Ramondre Stevenson and Garrett Wilson? No. I don't think you should do that at all. Sam LaPorta, I was just doing a little Sammy Ball game homework, actually.
Oh, baby.
I was talking about him, right? Because I did a TikTok on him. People don't know this. I'm a TikTok influencer now.
You are. You're a TikTok legend now. I've seen this.
It's a big deal. It's a thing. Yeah. I'm taking over the app. But here's the thing about this. Sam LaPorta, 3rd in fantasy points per game for all tight ends. He is 18 receptions, I believe, off the top of my head, and 22 targets. He has the most receptions of 20 yards or more, 4. Nobody else has 2. And he only has 1 touchdown of the year. So, you sprinkle in another touchdown this week, all of a sudden, Sam LaPorta is right there in that conversation for tight end 1 overall. Like, you don't trade that guy and Aaron Jones. And look, I was a big fan. Debro was a huge fan. You can't say anymore that the rookie tight ends can't deliver. I mean, Kyle Pitts broke the wheel, and now this is what you're going to get in the NFL. So stop chasing, like Hawkinson at the value in late in drafts. He was going too late. I was all about Hawkinson. But outside of that, like the strategy was wait this year. And if you waited, you did well. But Aaron Jones should be back this week. He should
be back. Everything. I just saw on the timeline that basically the Packers are saying him and Christian Watson will be back this week.
And I understand, like, you're getting antsy because Aaron Jones hasn't played, but the whole point, they held Watson and Jones back on Sunday because they felt like they could be competitive and maybe win that game. And they had that game against Detroit Thursday night looming. That game is so much more important. Not the out-of-division game. It's the in-division game Thursday night on a short week that is crucial for the Green Bay Packers if they want to win that division.
They also do lean on the side of being cautious with their guys. So the times when you've seen Aaron Jones and other players come back, it hasn't been as a half go. And shout out to Pat Fitzmaurice, like he's been on top of this. Like when players come back, they are a full go. And if you have Aaron Jones, you should feel really good about the fact that AJ Dillon has not looked good. So when Aaron Jones comes back, is he going to take over even more of that work than just a 50-50 split?
Yeah. Let me tell you, man, you don't want Garrett Wilson on your team. Do you see Joe Namath dogging Garrett Wilson? Well, Joe Namath, I don't even know if Joe Namath can see the television anymore, but Joe Namath's like, that guy can't play football, basically, is what he said. And he's not wrong. Look,
how close is Joe sitting to the TV? I mean, like, are we doing a distance check here?
Me or Namath? I don't know. Like, we're both getting up old. I'm getting don't make me get my glasses out. But here's the Zach Wilson stats to back it up. Zach Wilson, this is since 2021 with 500 passing attempts among the 34 quarterbacks with 500 or more passing attempts. He ranks last in completion percentage. He ranks 32nd of 34 in passing yards per game. He ranks 33rd in passing attempts, yards per attempt. He ranks last in touchdowns to interceptions, 72 touchdowns, 22 picks. He ranks last in passer rating, 69.2. This is not a knock on Zach Wilson, the dude. This is not a knock on the Jets trying to take it. Eventually, you have to understand it's not worked out. It's not going to work out. It's never going to work out. The Jets can either eat this season, and I don't think they want to, or after this week when the Kansas City Chiefs come into town and Taylor Swift comes into town with Travis Kelce, and they just, they do a concert at halftime together and just completely just destroy the Jets. What do the Jets do?
To get it in there. You had to sit here and mention Taylor Swift.
Look, man, Taylor Swift might be able to play quarterback better than Zach Wilson at this point. Like, I mean, honestly,
pretty fair.
Like,
pretty fair.
She could see over the line more than Bryce Young. She's very tall. She's like 5'10", I think. She's very tall. How tall is Bryce Young? I bet she's taller than Bryce Young. Just saying.
I would like to see the side by side. That would be interesting.
I want to see I don't want the real measurements.
Yeah,
You know,
like
I don't
not
want
like Taylor wearing heels and
No,
things
I
like
was gonna say
that.
with
Like
him wearing
we
heels.
we
is what I
need
was gonna
both.
say. But you don't want to. The point of this whole Zach Wilson conversation is you don't want to be trading for Garrett Wilson right now. Like you
Yes,
can't do
don't.
it
This is not
unless
a
you are
buy
getting
low.
him.
This is a buy never.
No, this is a
Mm-mm.
buy. Like if people drop him, if people are saying, "Here, take this away from me because I can't deal with it anymore," but they're not there yet. It might get that point. Daniel Martinez, should I trade Mark Andrews for Swift? I have Hunter Henry as a backup and Gainwell on my bench.
I'm fine with that. Like
I'm fine
if
with that
you're
too.
hurting, I mean, really Andrews has not been the difference maker so far. Like so I'm not going to say that he can't be down the stretch. But you're looking at DeAndre Swift. This is his backfield, man. Like this
It
is his
is.
backfield. What
Listen,
he's done
man,
after the last 2 games, this is his backfield.
I'll take some W's 3 weeks into the season. We're going to take a big L on DeAndre Swift. I was not
Same.
touching him.
Oh,
So
same.
I'll take the L on this
I
one.
didn't draft him hardly at all.
But after
in best
Thursday
ball.
night, that was pretty apparent. Like it's pretty clear.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. The one caveat is DeAndre Swift has had trouble staying on the field.
Yep.
Now, this is quite a workload they're giving him. Is he going to be relevant in week 13, 14, 15 in your fantasy playoffs? I don't know. And I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that question. So I would tread lightly here.
for
And I would have a
Daniel is-
backup plan for good teams.
Daniel
I'm a
has
good fan.
Gainwell on his bench. So Swift goes down. You're
Right.
covered, baby.
Yeah, that's why this trade is
No.
good.
That's great.
Let's go to John Schwartz. Should I drop Atwell, Kelly, or Reynolds for Tank Bigsby? Or Tank Dell? No, probably Tank Dell. It just says Tank. I didn't think we'd live in a world where there were 2 different tanks that I had to figure out.
A lot of
which
tanks
one we're
running the
talking
roads these days, Joe.
I'm gonna change my name to Tank Pisapia. Can we just do that? Can we change the cryon underneath my name?
You're kind of shaped like a tank. So,
I am kind of shaped like a tank.
It does work.
It
It does work. Sneaky athletics, sir.
Atwell,
don't
Kelly. I'm
underestimate the
dropping Josh
sneakiness.
Kelly.
Yeah,
you
I
wanna
would be
drop
Josh.
Reynolds?
Well, no, Josh Reynolds. I would drop Josh Reynolds.
Or is
I
it
think the
Craig Reynolds?
assumption-
I don't even know which Reynolds. I have
Either
no
way,
idea what this
both
question
of them are
is.
droppable. Speaking of L's to Owen, I was wrong on Craig Reynolds for last week, but either way, I would be dropping the Reynolds.
In one league, I dropped Reynolds for Achane. Achane.
Achane.
It's gonna be a long week,
And we're gonna. And I was like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right in the next 5 minutes when we bring his name up again. We're gonna do this all over.
I
again.
know. Look, at least we're trying. It's very hard to unlearn something. You know, I think that's like it's just, especially as you get old, like me. Just
the old dog joke.
It's very
difficult.
difficult.
Yeah.
The thing is, I look exactly the same. Exactly the same.
You're the Paul Rudd of fantasy. I've said this many times.
Benjamin Button right here. Kent Quiros. I have K9 stacked at wide receiver. Do I trade Quentin Johnston for Charbonnet?
No, I would not do that. You're selling QJ at the floor right now. He blows up, and he's the guy that we all think he can be, and shows the first round capital.
Like
then
their draft capital comparable, though, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. But the other part about it is like, what if you're doing that? You're making that move to have Charbonnet as a handcuff. What if this backfield dissolves into a 50-50 split? Then neither one of those guys is hitting the ceiling that you really want, and you're just kind of like, it's a maddening start-sit choice. Mm-hmm. So I think you hold QJ, and if he's the guy that we think he can be, and he blows up, then if you want to trade him away, then get yourself an RB2 you can plug into your lineup, and not just a handcuff or RB3 or 4.
Fair enough. All right. Again, continue to drop your comments and questions below in the chat. We want to answer your questions here. Also, like the stream, and while you're looking around to do something fun this week, why don't you join our NFL contest over at Betting Pros, because it's free. bettingpros.com/NFL contest. All you got to do is make 5 picks a week, 100 picks on the year to be eligible for the grand prize, but weekly prizes, monthly prizes, all happening. Our grand prize, an autographed Jackson Smith and Jigba jersey, thanks to our pals at bettingpros.com. And again, it's really fun. All you got to do is go to bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Or if you have the app already, you can just hit the community tab, drop down, join the contest. We're giving away Fantasy Pros swag, hats, t-shirts. We're giving away Betting Pros stuff. We're giving away premium upgrades to Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros. And it's all free. Just have to pick. You don't even have to bet the games. You just got to make picks. Sounds pretty good to me. By the way, we've also got something fun going on right now. If you're on iOS and you're downloading the Betting Pros app for the first time, this week you can check out Premium for free, and it's an amazing set of tools. Eric and I talk about it all the time, and Erickson, we are in love with the Betting Pros tools. They're spectacular.
Amazing.
There's nothing like it out there on the market. So even if you're somebody who's just new to the betting or trying to figure it out, This is the cheat code, man. This is where it's
It is.
at. I use it all day, every day. It's brilliant. All right, let's get to
Analyzer makes it so freaking easy, Joe. I mean, you have coverability percentages. We have bet ratings in
the
there.
prop
I mean,
bet cheat sheets alone.
you cannot know
it's worth it just
anything
for that.
about prop betting and just open that and say, okay, here's the consensus projection. Should I bet this? Should I not? And it's going to walk you through all of that.
Yeah, number one last week, I think, when going into the week was the Jalen Warren 2.5 receptions over.
Ooh, plus money, baby.
It was plus money when the week started. By the time Derek and I all betted, it was
hammered.
All right, let's go to Adele Ibrahim, FP. Should I be worried about Josh Reynolds' goose egg, Gus Edwards' injury, and future volume? Yeah, I think you should be worried about all those things, Adele. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think you should be worried. The problem is answers. So answers on the waiver wire, not named Achane. Did I do it right this time? Achane? Okay.
Yes.
Finally.
Yep. You get the thumbs up that time.
1 out of 10 ain't bad. So besides him, we talked about a lot of other guys. And we know Roshan Johnson is still 50% rostered in leagues thereabouts. Some of the other, names that were in that conversation, basically. But who are some other running backs that people should be looking for right now that they could still get that are still floating out there in that less than 50% range?
I mean, I think there's a gaggle of guys. Like if Elijah Mitchell's out there, he's going to get 8 to 10 touches weekly. If he falls into the end zone, then he's probably a low end RB2, high end 3, or at least
Spears, right?
Flex play.
Another guy too.
If Tajay too, if Derrick Henry gets traded or goes down, he could be awesome. The other guy and talking about old men in the room here, Jerick McKinnon, if he's out there.
I thought you were going to say Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, no. I'm playing that old. No, we're not getting
well,
that.
Everybody's talking about Zeke now, though, because of that game in the rain and all everybody did was run the football. And I'm like, guys, did you watch the game? I mean, it was pouring down rain at certain times in that game. Of course, that's all they did was run the football.
We've seen what this looks like. Zeke has not found the fountain of youth. He's gotten lost somewhere in the jungle.
Let's get to Brett Thunderstruck. Thoughts on Kyler Murray?
Nice.
Do you think he comes back and is fantasy relevant this season? I do think he comes back. I think he's fantasy relevant as a high-end QB2 in Superflex. I think the rushing equity he brings is enough to make him relevant there. I'll tell you what, if you are unhappy right now with Trevor Lawrence and the cupboard is bare and Kyler Murray sitting out there, maybe you stash him on the IR if things aren't going well. And if you had Joe Burrow in a deeper league, I'd be stashing Kyler Murray too, because I don't think Burrow's going to be healthy all year. I think it's going to be a really ugly season for the Bengals. And I'm holding my breath like every play with Burrow.
It looked rough last night. That's why, I understand Cincinnati not wanting to start 0-3. I get that. And maybe they would have. They probably would have, because the Rams looked like they had a really good chance. They were in that game the entire game. But the other part of this is Joe Burrow goes out. Where is Cincy going this year? Nowhere. Why not sit him for a game or two? Your season's not lost, in the next 2 weeks. I get, you go 0-1, 0-2, it gets worse, but you lose him for the entire season because you played Russian roulette with this. That's even worse, man.
By the way, John, being the exquisite producer he is, he got us the right information. The size of Taylor Swift and the size of Bryce Young, I was right. Taylor Swift measuring in at 5'11", Bryce Young measuring in at 5'10", and I'm saying 5'10".
5'10" might be generous too.
I'm pretty sure Bryce Young and I look eye to eye. Just saying.
What are you?
I'm 5'8" on a good day. 5'4". Very funny. Very funny. Yeah, I'm in the lollipop guild. That's where I am.
Just slightly hobbit.
After this live stream, I have to go help my boss Willy Wonka make some more chocolate. That's what I have to do. Let's get to the next question here. Andrew Erickson Truther. Should I drop Kadarius Toney for Palmer? Yeah, I would do that. Forget Toney. Forget Toney.
I would do that.
Jeremiah Masonette. I have Dallas Goedert and Hunter Henry, but I'm trying to trade one of them. Who should I sell? Goddard or Hunter Henry? Look, Hunter Henry's super touchdown dependent. Yeah. Henry's the one that I would sell. D-Bros with me. J Money 21. Pick one to bench. Miles Sanders or Rashad White to make room for Tank Dell in the flex. Rashad White, because they're going to be behind.
I'm sitting here trying to, off the top of my head, remember who
they're playing New Orleans this week.
Oh, so, yeah. Definitely.
I mean, not that Winston is great, but I don't
know. But the run defense is much
the run defense is much better.
Yep.
that was another game too that turned on a dime because I know you know this because you're a Saints fan.
Winston came in and that just the
as
offense
soon as Derek
went,
Carr hit the ground and grabbed his shoulder, I went, oh no, because was it 23-3 or nothing at the time? Like they were whooping them.
I was hoping this is the part where I was like, oh man, I wish we had Jay Kaner because him being suspended, I would much rather see Jay Kaner under center than Jameis Winston.
Yeah, look, you're going to see Jameis Winston for at least the next couple of weeks because I've had a sprained AC joint. As soon as I heard that was the diagnosis,
not fun.
It's not fun, but it's a 2 to 3 week injury. They're gonna stick a cortisone needle in the bone of his shoulder, like they did with me, and then afterward, I'll tell you what. Afterwards, I felt like the Hulk. I could go out and lift a car. I swear to God, like the only
with just one arm or both arms.
No, probably just the one. Like I felt I never took a steroid in my entire life except for that cortisone shot into the bone, and it hurt when they did it. Like they plunged that bad boy in. But afterwards, man, and I had been struggling with it. I couldn't lift it past here. It's a.
Did they get the running start like Happy Gilmore? Like
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. All right, let's get to Greg Martinez's question. Pick up Tank Dell or Palmer. Tank Dell.
Dell. Not even close. Dell.
Tristan Kirk trade off for Kelsey and Waddle. Ooh, this is a big one. For Diggs and Ingram. What's the better side? It's Kelsey and Waddle by a country mile.
Like not even close. Kelsey
not even close. Because. Look, Waddle and Diggs are in the same universe. Nobody's in the same stratosphere as Travis Kelsey. Nate Eckert.
Swift, but besides
better favorite pairing, Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift or Jason Kelsey and Deandre Swift?
Can I go with the Jason Kelsey side?
Sure. This is a free country. I'm telling you what to think.
I'm gonna go with Jason Kelsey.
My daughters freaked out when they saw that. They saw it live and they freaked out. We were watching the game. I walked
outside the other day and I swore I could hear them screaming from New Jersey,
oh
Joe.
My God. They freaked out. They were both, this was their reaction. This is exactly. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Did y'all buy a Sunday ticket just so you can watch all the Chiefs games now?
Well, no. Now you got to we have it anyway, but I was like, well, now you got to have to watch all the games now, all the Chiefs games. And my youngest is already a Chiefs fan. So it was
nobody had to twist her arm.
Let's go, Nate Eckert. What do we do with Derrick Henry? Hold or shop? Look, man, I think you shop, and I don't think you're going to get a good price. But let's talk about what might be available for him because that is. Do you think you could pull off Jonathan Taylor for him or Alvin Kamara for him? Is that a trade you want to make?
I would do that. I think
I would,
especially for Alvin Kamara. I would do that. See, my mind automatically goes to like wide receivers. Like, who could you get?
Yeah, but I'm just looking. If you invested in Derrick Henry, that's probably a second round pick, right? So
probably
chances are like he is your number one back. So you're not gonna like.
Would you take Brandon Ayuk for him, Joe? Because I think I would.
You know what I would do? I don't know if you could pull it off now, but would you take Swift and another mid tier wide receiver? Like DeAndre Swift.
If you could do like Swift and somebody had Watson, I would do that. Like
Christian Watson and Swift. That's
Christian
the kind of
Watson
deal for
is a
Henry.
really good buy low
right now. He's tremendous buy low. I could not agree more on that one. Let's get to the rest of your questions too. By the way, if we don't get to your questions, you're trying to figure things out, use the tools of Fantasy Pros to help you. FantasyPros.com/myplaybook. That is your absolute go-to in terms of decision making, whether it be trades, waiver wire assistant. It'll find trades in your league that you should make that help you and help the other team too. It'll tell you who to start, who to sit. You can set all your lineups just from the My Playbook app. So it's number one in fantasy sports for a reason. Use this tool because chances are somebody else in your league is, and chances are that person is whooping you. So use this. Use the My Playbook app. I'm telling you, just for the feature to set all your lineups in one spot, done. Like that stop selling there. I told them when they told me you had that feature when I came into Fantasy Pros, I was like, that's enough. Stop selling. That alone is worth it. Again, it's free. Premium, you get more, but check out
the Trade Finder thing I think is amazing.
Trade Finder that
helps you whether you are brand new to fantasy or you're a seasoned veteran. Like it helps everybody.
Right. You got to think outside the box sometimes. It's a good way to do that. Ryan C. Do I drop JSN for Adam Theilen? Now, that's an interesting one. I think if you're 0-3 or 1-2, I think you do. Because I think Thielen's going to eat this week, too, with Andy Dalton under center in that game. That's going to be more competitive.
If you're 0-3, I would do it. Now, if you were 2-2 or 3-1, like...
Well, you can't be 2-2.
Well, whatever, 2-1.
You see, Derek, how math works.
Sorry, math. Yes, math is hard. I'm having hard time with the maths.
I mean, you can't even be 2-2 in a league where you play more than one team a week, unless you have like odd number double header weeks. It's almost
This is what
impossible.
I get for saying happy birthday to you on the
And he
stream.
had, and
This is what
no,
I get.
this is what you get for teasing me with a cupcake that I can't eat. That
Oh,
you're gonna eat
I
my
was gonna
birthday
say, I
cupcake.
actually was gonna bring that up earlier. Like, I
That
love
was
you,
the
but this
that was the
cupcake is going
torture.
down like a smooth muffin, baby. It's gonna go happen.
Like a sweet muffin. Let's go to
Going
Eric
down the floor.
108. Drop Shaheed for Hunt or Palmer, or excuse me, Shaheed or Hunt for Palmer or DJ Shark. Half PPR, 16-team league.
No,
Why would I drop Shaheed?
I
or
would
Hunt?
keep both those guys over the players.
No.
Like, Shaheed is basically the idea of what that
No.
you have for DJ Chark, but he's a better player. So no.
No, look, I understand the Shark and Palmer experiment, but not over Shaheed and Hunt. Jeremiah Masonette. I have Dallas, Goddard, and Hunter Henry, but I'm trying to trade one of them. Who should I sell? I think we went over this. Hunter Henry.
Yep.
Danny Phipps. Would you start Sam Howell as your QB2 in a 2-quarterback league this week against the Eagles? No, thank you.
No,
I would rather not.
Thank you.
Sam
Howell. We talk about like everybody rags on Justin Fields. Sam Howell is getting obliterated with sacks.
If you think he made some bad decisions against the Bills, wait till Jalen Carter's on top of him. Okay.
Yeah. It's
by the way, Jalen Carter moved to number 1 for defensive rookie of the year last week. I don't know if anybody saw that. Told everybody betting pros back in August. One of my top 10 favorite early bets. I think he was like plus 800 or something. It's crazy. I think it's plus 300 right now. Jalen Carter, take a look. Go make that wager before it's minus. World Eaters. I was offered Davante Adams for Jamaar Chase.
Chase.
Now this is interesting. But here you go. But I understand why World Eaters has this conundrum, because you're living in this fear of Joe Burrow, who isn't going to look like Joe Burrow for weeks, if at all this year. If he gets hurt, what does it look like? Look, I'm not the biggest Adams guy this year, but I mean, jeez, he had a huge game this week. I mean, I don't know, man.
Chase had a really good game too.
Chase had a good game, but
I guess so. Here's splitting the difference for me, Joe. I would rather take Joe Burrow and the uncertainty, because even Joe Burrow, the way that he looks, is still better than dealing with Jimmy Garoppolo for the entire season.
Well, and Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be out too, probably. So.
Or the Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell show this week. You know?
I'm morbidly curious about
Aiden O'Connell.
That's a thing about O'Connell. Yeah, I want to see him
I am
play.
too.
I want to see Brian Hoyer play. I know what Brian Hoyer is.
I would take a beat up Joe Burrow and Jamaar Chase over the flip side of that.
Where's Matt Schaub when you need him? I always feel like Matt Schaub should be the backup for every team in the NFL. Like he should be the standard. Like he could probably still go
Matt
out there
Castle, just all the Matts.
I bet Matt Schaub would be better than Zach Wilson. I bet RG3 coming off the desk job, changing out of his suit into uniform could be better.
Can we just bring Chad Kelly from the CFL? Can we get him back in the NFL? That's kind of what I want to see. But,
I mean, they have to see it. I mean, there's no way an organization can't look at the tape of the last couple of weeks of Zach Wilson and not see this. And look, I understand they made a huge financial investment, but just because you've made a lot of time making a mistake doesn't mean you should live in it forever.
Here's a name that we haven't thrown out here. Why would you not go just right across, I'm not going to say the bridge because I don't know where they're at, but why would you not go make the trade for Tyrod Taylor? Like, again, stopgap veteran.
I think the Giants value Tyrod Taylor too much.
Just saying, man.
This is what you have to go to a team that's desperate for draft picks, right? So a team that's desperate for draft picks, the Denver Broncos are desperate for draft picks. And I think the Washington Commanders could stand to get some draft picks. Like, I think Brissett's still that dude. The Brissett, you drop him in there. Yeah. You are going to compete for that division with that defense. You are. I can't believe I keep defending the Jets. A Patriots fan. This is really upsetting to me personally. On my birthday, no less. I'm trying to somehow help the Jets get there. What am I doing?
You must love pain. Like, you're doing this to yourself. I didn't ask you this question.
I do love pain.
That's fair.
Clearly.
That's fair.
SMS Gaming. What wide receiver would you sell Puka Nacua with Cup likely to come back soon? I'm not selling Puka. But let's answer the question. Puka value. Do you think you can get Calvin Ridley for him right now?
Yeah, you get Calvin Ridley for him.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Be able to.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
I'm not
the
against
trade
doing
to make.
That.
If you're trading up, if you're just shooting the moon and trading up, I think you're in a good spot there.
What about if you try to, with him missing the game, what about Jalen Waddle? Or do you think that Miami exploding?
I would take Waddle over Puka too. No, because he wasn't part of it. I think he can do it. And whenever there's
Yeah.
fear in the marketplace of an injury, coming off the concussion, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm also good with our championship ring that we're giving away. This thing is amazing, everybody. Take a look at it. If you want a chance to win this free fantasy football championship ring, courtesy of our pals over at Trophy Smack, the #1 store for epic fantasy football trophies, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below right now and click the bell till it goes ding for notifications. So, if you're the big winner, you can claim your prize of the championship ring. It is glorious. I want one. Seriously. That is fantastic right there.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice work. Trophy Smack,
Bend the knee.
doing it up.
Kiss the
Bend
ring.
the knee to Trophy Smack. Cody K, 12-team full PPR, 0.25 per rush. Trade Jerome Ford and Ayuk or Christian Watson for Josh Jacobs.
No.
Nope. I like Ayuk and Christian Watson way too much.
I have talked, I have talked at nauseum about trading for Josh Jacobs, but for me,
not for that.
You need somebody lumped in with Jacobs to even consider that deal. I'm not making that deal. I care too much about Ayuk and Watson.
He just cares. He's so caring. Derek cares too much. Sometimes he got to tell himself, stop caring so much because it hurts from all the caring. Big, huge heart. King Caesar, do you still stash Kelly, throw him on waivers, or does he have a trade value? He has trade value to the Eckler manager potentially. But
I don't even know
if you have to drop him
right now.
Look, if you have to drop him from Mostert or Spears or anybody like that, or Tank Dell or Quentin Johnston this week, you do it. You just do it.
I drop him.
If it didn't happen last week, it ain't happening because Minnesota is like Swiss cheese, that defense to run through. My God. Jermaine Ford, give Najee and Garrett Wilson, get Waddle and Devonta Smith. Yeah, sure. Great. Good luck with that.
Yes.
Jermaine, if you can do that, I want into that league next year.
I mean, Waddle or Smitty for that type of, yes.
Doesn't matter. Whoever you want to give me. I just let them choose their color. They're both fine. I mean, I'd rather have Waddle because.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm taking both. They're both going to be top 15.
I mean, they're both fine. But if I got to pick, then that's fine.
Easy Waddle.
Mike Matthews, Hall, Kelly, Herbert, Roschon, Dillon, start 2 in the PPR. It's early for start sick questions.
Yeah.
But off the top of my head right now, I mean, you're probably not starting Dillon because it looks like Jones is coming back. So, Mike, you should ask this one again on Thursday afternoon.
Hall and Roschon, but you need to come back to us with this one.
Hall and Roschon is where I would go as well because I think it's the Roschon Johnson show going forward. Something's got to change over there. Man, Chicago, Denver, talk about the Pooper Bowl. Like, this is bad. That is going to be... And I want to see it. I'm here for it. I want to see what happens in that game. And I want to see how bad these teams can be at one time together.
That man said the Pooper Bowl.
Oh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be great. Can't wait. Because there's like last night's game, the second game was boring. You get those games sometimes that are bad and just not good. Like, it got kind of interesting at the end, but it wasn't a fun game necessarily. Mm-hmm. Then there's games that you kind of know are going to be a hot mess that you kind of want to watch. And you're like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be like the fun hot mess game. That's what I want to see. All right.
This is going to be Denver ticked off.
I know, right? Robbie Thomas, 18. Is that like Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20? Do you think it? Do you think he's trying to hide in the chat?
We can't be that lucky. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of people to get to sing a happy birthday today.
He wants to push me around. Maybe it's 3 a.m. and he's lonely and he needs fantasy advice. Who knows?
There we go. That's what people will know. There we go. That's it.
I liked Push. Push was that was a good song.
Push was forgettable.
I liked Push.
I know you like Push, but I think you're.
Well, the one he did with Santana was on every 5 minutes. If I hear that song, I literally lose my mind. That song drove me crazy. Right? What was that? Oh, what was the name of it? I can't remember the name. I blocked it out.
Lord, you're gonna make me Google it. You're gonna make me Google it.
Give me your heart, make it real, or else we'll get all about it. I don't think it. Smooth. That's what it was called.
Yeah, smooth. Oh, you're
because they barely say it's like it's not in the chorus.
No,
it's kind of there.
You'd think it would be for the catch, but no.
No, it's not. Let's help Rob Thomas. He's out on tour with Matchbox 20 right now. Pick one stash: Tank Dell, Jacoby Myers, Hollywood Brown, half PPR. One of these guys, it's not Hollywood, it's Tank or Jacoby Myers for me.
It's Tank.
I'm so happy for CJ Stroud. Can I just tell you? Because that guy dealt with so much crap the last week before the draft. And I feel like his heart was really like just crushed by people. It's like talking about Will Levis taking over like the number 2 spot, and like that he might not go in the first 10 pick. Like I just heard that noise, and
it's amazing what the echo chamber can do, man. Like people,
and it's amazing if you go back, and this is
Mm.
why if you play Dynasty, you should be watching our coverage all year long, because not only does Dynasty show with Pat Fitzmaurice and Bogman awesome in the offseason, but also when we do our draft talk here, you, me, Thor, everybody, we were so in on Stroud. We was like, look, this is the most ready quarterback. Bryce
he
Young
was
might
my
be a really good
QB1
kid.
the
He was
entire
my
process.
QB1 in my rankings too. Like it was just a lock. Like that was the dude for me. Like Richardson was a long-term, like, oh my God, if everything comes together for that guy, it's going to be unbelievable. But Stroud was like, yeah,
Stroud
you
has
plug and play
special arm
very
talent.
good.
Like
Very good.
special.
Amazing arm. And when you watch him in the combine, it was on display. It wasn't like CJ Stroud wasn't dropping dimes all over the place. He was hitting wide receivers. And the thing that's so hard about the combine is you're throwing to receivers you don't know. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like, pro days, you're there working with the guys that you work with all the time. When you go to the combine and you look good and you're dropping dimes everywhere where receivers don't have to adjust their routes, that should make you stand up and notice a player. And you should watch.
So here's a quick question. Do you think Carolina right now with the early returns is wishing they would have gone Stroud over Bryce Young?
100%.
Because they should be.
100%. But I know why they did what they did.
No, I get why they did
it. To bring in somebody to change the face of the organization. And Bryce Young is really good in that sense. Like he's a very good, almost political figure. He's incredibly smart, likable. He's a good football player. Like he brings all of that stuff there. He's a good smiling face of the organization. And the Panthers have had a lot of miserable. You know, the Cam Newton stuff ended miserably. You know, all the quarterback experimentation of last year ended miserably. So I get it, but take the football talent. I mean, let's say this. They're not regretting as much as the Jets are for moving the draft capital to take Zach Wilson.
Oh, Zach Wilson.
Full circle. CM Carrigan. Trade Derrick Henry or Ramondre Stevenson for a wide receiver.
Henry.
I trade Henry first. Yeah.
Henry.
Pigeon Man. Pigeon Man, worst superhero ever. Elijah Moore or Deontay Johnson rest of season? I think it's got to be Deontay, right?
Deontay. Elijah hasn't done anything.
He's an interesting buy low right now, too. If you're looking at trades, Christian Watson, Deontay Johnson, once the hamstrings are healthy, and I think the guys coming off the IR, I have a better feeling about, but some of these teams are hurting right now. They're 1-2 or 0-3, or in Derek's league, 2-2 even.
Just still floating the boat, 2-2, baby.
God, it was so fun. So you want to slide right into that.
Math.
I made my day. Mike Matthews, running back targets in a Pukamon. He's calling Puka Nacua
a Pukamon trade?
Yeah. RB targets in the Puka trade.
That's a new one.
Let's go through some of the names here. Kamara is definitely the guy who's going to be traded a lot. What about James Cook? Jameer Gibbs would be the one I would want. I'd love me some Jameer Gibbs.
I
like Jameer Gibbs. I think Gibbs is going to work a ton as the season goes on, man.
I think Alvin Kamara, James Cook, Jameer Gibbs.
Is Aaron Jones not enough?
Aaron Jones is not enough. If he was a healthy Aaron Jones, it would be enough, but I think you could squeeze more out of that lemon.
Yeah, I think because he's a little older, too, like in terms of treading the tires. That's why I'm going to
Hammy's
Gibbs.
Those injuries don't get better as you get older. So
I know you're wearing the brace right now. I'm pretty sure. Ramakrishna,
it's a sleeve.
Booma, Joe Burrow or Russell Wilson rest of season.
Russell Wilson. I mean,
I just don't think Burrow's going to be able to push off.
I worry. I have a lot of concerns about Burrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Russell Wilson, as ugly as that is to say.
Tyler Tagats. Who should I trade Derrick Henry for?
I mean, the low end RB1. I mean, we talked about if you can get Kamara straight up, then I would do that. But wide receiver wise, I think we brought his name up a bunch right here, but I think you should be able to go out and trade Derrick Henry for Jalen Waddle straight up.
There you go. Ivan Rijos. Should I pick up Tank Dell or either of the Chargers wide receivers? I think it's Dell, Johnson, Palmer if you're ranking them, but it's not a fab situation. All right, we'll do a couple more questions here. Austin Miller, Dynasty League. Achane. That's twice. So proud. So proud of me.
You paused for a second, though. It doesn't really count. You didn't do it like
it's like Christopher
fluid.
Walken.
You had to think about it still.
Devon Achane. You want to add him? You want to add Josh Jacobs from the Raiders?
That man did the walking.
It's a Dynasty League, so don't forget, we're talking long, not short term in terms of the value. So which one do you want to do right now, Derek? Are people still watching even? I don't know. We've been doing this for 45 minutes. It's so long. It's my birthday. And
Oh
here I
my
am
gosh.
at work.
Can y'all, no. The chat needs to sit here and give us a vote here or something. We need you said, does Joey need to be walking for Halloween? Because now I feel like this has to happen, man.
I can do that for a whole show. Well, the hard
Can
part
you do
is
it for a whole show? Can you?
hard part, of course I could. I can say in character. The hard thing is like people want me to do Dr. Evil every year now. Like that's like the expectation. But I don't know, like, do I want it? Is that the annual thing where I'm just Dr. Evil for a whole show? Or do I need to change it up every year? I don't know. That's an important
That
poll.
walking was pretty good, man.
Because, but let's answer the question. Dynasty.
I would want
Devon or
Devon
Jacobs?
Achane. I want Achane and plus for Jacobs.
I agree.
Think
The plus is important. I want a pick. I want a third round pick or something with that.
Well, I would say my starting offer would probably be like Achane and a 25 first, but I think you could probably drop it to Achane and a 24 second.
I don't want to upset the person, so I don't know if I would ask for the first. I think the second is reasonable. I would start there. Yeah. So I think first is a lot. Let's get
25,
to
not a 24.
I'm just saying. Mark Cargill, rest of season. Travis Etienne, Josh Jacobs, Ken Walker. Rank them.
Etienne, Walker, and then Jacobs.
Yeah. I read it to you in week 1. The data was out there about the guys with the biggest workloads in the following year. In the last 10 plus years, I mean, it's pretty obvious where that was going. Like
that offensive line is playing terribly right now. But to say all this, I still believe that Josh Jacobs can have good games with the upcoming schedule because it's a cakewalk. But we're giving context here.
All right, let's go. We're going to scroll down here. I'm going to give one here. Ando A, half PPR, sending Najee and Swift for Kamara, sending Najee and Swift or Kamara for Eckler. So I don't know if I'm
doing that.
Like, I understand you want to.
I don't think I'm doing that.
If I'm doing one of them, I think the idea is like, hey, I'm trying to buy low on Eckler, and Eckler's going to be fine. It's going to be great.
And that's fine, but I would lump a wide receiver probably with Najee. Like, I think you're holding on to Kamara.
You want to keep Swift and Kamara if you can.
You want to keep them. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. John Tuggle, drop Geno or Dak for Stroud.
Both of them are pretty good drop. I would say Dak. I would drop Dak.
Wow. Amazing. We can't top that. So we're going to leave on that note. Don't forget, everybody, to like the stream. Don't forget, everyone, also to drop the comment below so you can win that incredible ring from Trophy Smack that we're giving away this week. Amazing stuff here, as always, from Derrick Brown and, of course, our producer, John. You'll join our NFL contest over at bettingpros.com/NFL contest. And don't forget to download my playbook. Use the app. Use the tools, fantasypros.com/my playbook. Help us help you win all of your leagues. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on my birthday for John and Derrick.
Cupcake is good.
Tastes good. Tastes like victory, doesn't it? That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy your Tuesday.